Hey Bears fans, feel that snap in the lake wind, the kind that makes the city stand still for half a breath. Hollis Hall just flipped its lights on a little earlier than usual. And when a building like that wakes up before the sun, it isn't for coffee. It's for a decision. Picture a quiet room, a clipped sentence, and a name that changes how a quarterback breathes at 9.5 yards. If you love this team, you know the difference between noise and weather. And this right here feels like weather rolling in off the lake. Tell me you don't recognize the pattern. First, it's film that won't shut up about the same problem. Then it's a scout's note that keeps surviving every meeting. Then it's a call that lands at just the right hour. 3rd and 7 in miserable wind. Edge heat hot off the blind side. A climb lane erased by half a yard and a heartbeat. That's not bad luck. That's a lever on your whole identity. Fix that lever, and an offense stops apologizing for itself. It calls what it believes in on purpose. Here's my promise if you stay with me. We're going to walk through the why before the what. We'll talk the moments that actually swing games 3rd and medium. Low red, 4-minute, how one veteran on the left can turn pressure into patience and patience into points. We'll map the cap lane in the calendar, the ramp and the risks, the ripple effect on the WR room, the run menu, and the kid under center who just wants to stand tall and rip. No spoilers yet. The reveal hits harder when you understand the stakes. You're watching Bears News fan report, voice of the Navy in orange, and the only place where rumor meets football logic and leaves with tape. If you live in Chicago colors, hit subscribe and tap the bell right now. It helps us keep this community loud, and you won't miss the moments that turn into January. Let's set the scene. This roster isn't dreaming the way it used to. This roster is planning. The quarterback? He processes fast enough to turn a 5-step concept into a 3-step answer. And when he breaks the pocket, it's calculated, not desperate. DJ Moore is the mid-game bully who steals a drive back when a defense thinks it's caught its rhythm. Roma Duns threatens leverage so early in his stem that safeties cheat 2 steps and still feel late. The tight end room isn't window dressing. It's geometry. The run game? On the right day, it dents fronts and demands honesty. What's missing is the calm button on the blind side, the one that lets the coordinator live in 5 out, stop gluing a tight end to the line, and call the pages he circled on Tuesday night without lying to himself on Sunday afternoon dot. So here's the headline you came for. The move on the table is bringing in Ronnie Stanley to lock down the left door and tell the wind it can't come in. The book on Stanley has always read like a clinic patient feet, independent hands, an anchor that doesn't just hold but resets, and the veteran eyes to sort tackle end games before they become hospital passes. You want to know what it looks like the first time? 3rd and 6, midpoint logo, mugged a gaps and a twist cue to the blind side. He stays square, keeps the inside half pristine, catches the looper with a short, mean strike, hands him to the guard like a baton, and never opens the back door. Quarterback climbs, ball on time, chains move. That's not a highlight. That's oxygen. Now take the red zone. Heavy surface, play action from a look that screams duo. The edge squeezes, linebackers step downhill because they have to. And all Stanley has to do is sell run with pad level and then hinge just enough to let the rush run past the spot. That extra heartbeat turns a front pylon glance into 6. 4-minute? Everybody knows the call. The front slants hard, a backer spikes late. And a left tackle with quiet feet takes the slant on the sternum, refits without panic, and reopens the crease for 8 and the sound of somebody else's timeout. This is how you win boring in January. You think boring is an insult? In the NFC North, boring is a compliment you earn by being mean and correct. Stanley changes more than pockets. He changes people. The slot stops peeking back at the snap and runs his stem like it's drawn. The tight end becomes a scene stressor again, instead of a bodyguard with a root bonus. The backs turn into outlets, not sandbags. The right side plays faster, because panic doesn't travel across a pocket that refuses to tilt. In practice, half-line pass pro starts to feel like Sunday speed lazy hands get punished. Second steps matter again, and the guard next to him hears game and doesn't flinch because the communication is clean enough to echo once and stick. Money matters. This isn't fireworks, this is grown-up team building. A veteran with pelts on the wall earns a responsible structure, year-to-year flexibility, playtime and postseason triggers, a number that pays for availability and impact instead of nostalgia. Done right, you keep cap oxygen for the rooms that still need it, because a left tackle who calms your blind side is only half the story. The other half is keeping a deep ball in the budget and a third safety in the plan. Risk? Always. Ramps are ramps, bodies are bodies, and protection language doesn't become instinct in one install. The staff's mitigation plan is boring in the best way. Start with the two protection families that matter most. Pair him with a loud guard early. Dose the run asks by opponent. And keep snaps where legs arrive in the fourth quarter. Nobody's stealing a Thursday headline. Everybody's buying a 3rd and 7 in December that looks routine and feels inevitable. You want the division math? DCS, who've been leaning on simulated pressure and tackle end games to the blind side, now have to pick a new poison. Bring heat and you're giving up quicks that punish leverage. Bail and you're volunteering to get dented downhill until you hate your gap. The bigger shift is psychological. The call sheet stops apologizing. When the left is quiet, you can call the same play twice, back to back, because you trust the geometry, not the vibes. So is this fact or speculation? Let's be honest, like we always are. As of this taping, this lives in the speculation window. Strong signals and football logic, temperature checks that mattered, timelines that make sense, but no pen on paper in public. The league is small. Conversations happen long before signatures do. What we're telling you is why the move fits, what it fixes, how it would roll out, and where the calendar lines up with the cap sheet. Could it pivot? Sure. Could a medical, a number, or an alternate plan pull the thread another way? Welcome to the NFL. But this isn't a stray headline. It's the story that explains why that headline would make football sense. Here's how it ripples, position by position. The promising young tackle, who's been asked to live on an island before he's ready, gets to play his reps at the speed he's earned, not the speed we're angry about. The swing tackle becomes a true swing instead of a permanent patch. Backs can release on time with eyes downfield because checkdowns stop being emergency flares and start being weapons. The quarterback, this is the big one, gets to live where the concept says he should live, not where chaos shoved him. That makes his footwork honest, his eyes disciplined, and your offensive identity a place you can actually visit on purpose. Now, how do you make it real on a calendar? Day one is language, turning what Stanley's done for years into the words we use here. Where the alerts live, which keyword means hinge now, which means pass it, which means bury the spike. Day two is the third down menu and the two-man dialogue with the guard so the twist hits on the same step. Day three is low red and 4-minute your end game and your ender. Week one is clarity over volume. Week two adds families. By week three, it should feel like the offense installed a calm button you can press without huddling. That's how pros do it. Let's not pretend there isn't a human layer. You add a veteran at left tackle, and the room shifts less panic, more honesty. Individual period hand fights get violent again, in a good way. The tone travels. And yeah, somebody's snap count goes down. That's where coaching earns its paycheck. Define roles without lying, make the plan the star, and sell the truth that a calmer blindside feeds everybody's stats, including those of the wideouts who like the deep ball and the coordinator who's been waiting to call it twice in a row. So where do I land? My personal opinion is simple. If the number lives in the responsible band and the medical ramp cooperates, pull the trigger. A left tackle who deletes panic doesn't just reduce sacks, he expands your offense's personality. He buys your quarterback time to become a surgeon and your play caller the right to be himself. If the price explodes into fantasy, walk. We're building a core, not a costume. But if the structure is right, reasonable guarantees, flexible horizon, incentives that pay production, then stop flirting with common sense and marry it. The NFC North doesn't give out bonus points for dramatic comebacks. It rewards teams who make 3rd and 7 look boring when the wind is ugly. That's the identity we owe this defense and this city. You tell me, Chicago, would you keep the tight end free and dare defenses to win one-on-one on the edge? Or do you still chip early until the language is second nature? Do you bank wins in September or slow burn to peak in December? Drop your read in the comments because this community shapes the conversation in this building more than you think. And when the first snaps hit the screen, we'll be back here, all of us, breaking down the footwork, the hand placement, and the way the pocket finally breathes.